Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that actually happened recently, probably a couple days ago, but it was something that stayed with me, and I think that a lot of people can get something from this episode. So, I'm going to title it, I think, Making Amends. Now, I'll go into why I decided to title that and kind of something that happened to me personally. So I've always been type of person that believes in apologizing when you do wrong or just going out of your way to make things right. And I know that when you do that, you know, you might not get the response that you want. I think a lot of us want to get a positive response. We want to make up with somebody and become friends again, or maybe we just, we have hope that they'll at least say, "Oh, thanks. I can't believe you went out of your way to do that." But in all honesty, you don't know how people will respond when you try and reach out and apologize. They could go from anywhere from why are you reaching out? That happened years ago, or I don't want to talk to you. To more positive type of response of, "Oh man, thanks. Like that was really big of you to do that." Um, but I think it's still important, regardless of what the outcome is. I think it's important to step up and admit that you're wrong when you are. So in my case, I'm going to tell a personal story. I'll of course leave out the full uh, names of the people that I'm talking about and including that are included in this story just for their sake. But a couple years ago, I was friends with two two guys that I knew from my church at the time. They both went there, and we were really close. I saw one of them quite often, and I saw the other one. Every so often he was off to school, and I just personally didn't feel like at, at the time that I cut ties, I felt like I wasn't getting the closeness. I wasn't close with them. I wasn't talking to them very often. I was in more of a lonely place, and I had a desire to have strong connections with people and talk quite often. And so what ended up happening is I cut ties with three people, but two of them are in this story, and I just told them straight what I thought, and I don't think any of them responded, but uh, yeah, fast forward 2 years where I was in a better place and wasn't letting my emotions run the show. Um, I just thought, I'm going to reach out and just tell them that, I'm sorry for the way I handled it. I think when emotions get the best of us, that's when things tend to go wrong because you're not making sound judgment calls. You're not you you you're just reacting based on how you feel. And then after the fact, the regret comes in. And so I think I think I needed my friends at that time because I was going through a lot, and I didn't feel like they were there. And I think that that's partly is something that it's okay to want that. It's okay to want people to check in on you and to be there for you when you need them. But if you only have those friends like I did, that puts a lot of weight on them, and they might not feel it, but it's true. You're relying on them for all of your uh, needs in far as friendship goes, and that's just not how it should be. So yeah, I just sent him a text message, and I just said, I want more than just like talking every couple months. And I know that probably sounds like dating, but like what you'd say to someone you're dating. But I like to be honest. Everybody has their own ways of communicating with friends. So that's what I said. And fast forward, of course, I had that thought that came in my head of maybe I should reach out and apologize. I don't think I handled that well. I think I should have communicated first, saying something like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Can we reconnect? Or even saying, I kind of want us to talk more. How do you feel about that? Um, because ultimately, friends are valuable. They give up their time to hang out with you. I know with one friend, I was calling him. We'd set up times to talk, and we talk, 30 minutes to an hour or more. So they're putting aside time to talk to you. Anyways, I essentially just I made a message that night to one of them, and I just said, I wanted to apologize. I know it's been a couple years, but I wanted to apologize for how I handled it. I should have communicated better. And then I just basically ended it like that. Um, Both of them responded in their own time. I appreciated that. And we kind of left it at that. But basically, I'm telling this story because I think it's important if you've wronged somebody to just reach out, and if you can, and let them know that if you, of course, you got to feel conviction. You don't just do it just because, to let it so that it can you know you can have peace of mind that you did what's right. So you're the holy man. But it's just reach out if you feel convicted, and let them know. Just be a better man or a better person, and do the right thing, and step up, and take ownership of what you've done wrong. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and talk about that. So I hope that you got something out of that story. I hope that maybe it makes you think about some things that you've been putting off, or maybe you take that step and you reach out to somebody, and just make things right. But I will say again, just because you do this, and just because you take that step, it doesn't mean that they are going to be receptive to you. They might block you. They could, I don't know, tell you off. Um, they could do a number of have a number of responses to what you do. So just be aware that when you do that, you are at risk of getting a response that you like or don't, or getting nothing at all. So yeah, hopefully you learned something from my story. And I think if I could say anything, if I learn anything, it would be if you are in the moment and you have emotions that are kind of taking over, and you're feeling like you want to make a decision that may or may not be good, then I would say try and give yourself a little time. Um, don't do it if it's on an impulse, because you'll regret it later. I've had other stories like that. There have been a couple instances for me where I've reached out to people, and they've never responded, and I'm not blaming them at all. I probably wouldn't have responded to me either, because you know, it's just some things. Uh, people just they just don't want anything to do with you, and that's their right. Um, so I just to those people I apologize, uh, to Ariel and Matthew, who is my good friend from school. So yeah, all right.